Hi, I'm Rajshri, a former freelance computer scientist. I'm an international best-selling author of Holistic Healing, Transforming Through Grief, Loss and Trauma to Creating a Life You Love Living. I now help people elevate their consciousness and create a life that they love living with confidence and self-empowerment, especially after life-changing events. In this video, I'll be talking about loss and grief that we suffer after losing a loved one and how to find that reconnection to our dearly not so departed. Losing a loved one is one of the most profound and painful experiences we can endure. Grief is a natural process to loss, but understanding it can be challenging. This video will help you gain a better perspective of death so that you can begin to heal. But before we start, remember to like and subscribe to be notified of my next video. So let's dive in. There are 4 tenets to understand before I start. Number 1 is we are eternal beings having a temporary human experience. So when our dearly not so departed leave their body, they are not unavailable to us. In fact, they are more available to us and understand us better from their new vantage point than they did in their physical form. After all, we were never intended to be here forever. It was only a temporary earthly experience. Number 2, we are bigger and much more than these physical bodies. We are more non-physical than physical. In fact, the body exists in the soul, not the other way round. Transition is a shift from the physical to the non-physical, where consciousness continues to exist and evolve. People who have transitioned have rejoined the wholeness of who they are, but you don't have to transition to feel that wholeness. I'll talk about that in future episodes, but briefly, we are vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe. Everything is consciousness and it vibrates at different frequencies. We each have a unique frequency, even inanimate objects have a unique frequency. For example, a table has a different frequency to that of a chair, and we use our physical senses to interpret these different frequencies. So we can see the frequency of a table and interpret it as a table and not a chair. Our emotions also have different frequencies, which act as our internal guidance system, letting us know how far we are from our authentic self, who is pure positive energy. So the better we feel, the more closer we are to our true essence, and the worse we feel, the further we are from that. But if we continue to suffer because we dwell on all the times we won't spend together, doing things that we did together, and how they suffered in their transition, that can linger in our minds for months, if not years, as it did for me. We feel that a part of us is gone. We feel lost and alone. There was an emotional attachment to the person who transitioned that we feel is no more. Our world as we knew it is no more. Grief isn't only about loss, but also about guilt, regret, denial, depression, anger, and blame. All the things we should have said, shouldn't have said, and the things that remain unsaid. What we could have done differently, whether we could have saved their lives in some way. We feel powerless and hopeless. All these things are a natural part of the human condition that we go through, but we want to make sure that we don't stay there forever. We can say what we wanted to now and ask for forgiveness now. They can hear us. We are eternal beings, and our significant relationships are also eternal. There's one thing Abraham Hicks said that shook me to my core, and that was that humans have created illness because you won't let go of this life experience easily. And they go further on to say, because we've come so far, learnt so much, and don't want to start again. So let's play it all out here and now in this body. I've had these thoughts too, like I don't want to start everything from scratch again in a different incarnation. Another thing I learned from various mentors is that we have agreements with our loved ones. Some decide to leave early, well before we're even ready to let them go. And the intention, which was pre-agreed before our birth on earth, was that we would find them. And to do that, we have to awaken to our spiritual connection in order to understand and come to terms with our loss, and then refocus on the reconnection to our loved ones who have transitioned. Many people, however, go the other way into prolonged states of despair, depression, regret, grief, blame, anger, and then they stay there, missing the point of the agreement. Bashar stated that sometimes people leave to be closer to us. I realized that when my parents transitioned, after I left my country, they must have felt grief and loss when I left, because grief and loss doesn't only apply to transition. You can feel it when someone you love moves away, as I did, or you lose your career or your home. I feel that my parents transitioned so that they could be closer to me in the best way that they could. The other thing to note is that we feel a loss at the physical level, however, it's a gain at the non physical level. If you change your perspective to this, then you'll realize that your dearly not so departed haven't gone anywhere, because we are always non physical and always alive. Our departed ones are accessible to us. They're at a high frequency, and we're the ones who have to do the frequency adjusting if we want to continue our relationship. And the best way to connect to your higher self and departed loved ones is through meditation. When you raise your frequency, you are able to meet your loved ones where they are. I covered meditation in an earlier video. The link is provided below. You can even prove your connection is ongoing by asking for signs and then expect to receive them. I always get signs from my parents. I can feel them with me. Sometimes I dip into grief when I see their photo and know that we won't have a physical connection anymore in this lifetime. Thankfully, the time spent in that emotion gets less and less as the years go by. I think of transition now as a relationship transformation. The relationship is eternal, it's just in a different form. Our relationships evolve as we grow older, and this is just another form of an ongoing relationship. For example, if it's a parent-child relationship, it changes from when we're toddlers, teenagers, adults, and again when transition occurs. Once you change your perspective on death, because there isn't any, it's a re-emergence into non-physical, a reunion with the wholeness of who they have always been. It can help ease the pain. From a law of attraction perspective, if we miss something or someone, or have lost something or someone, we can't find it because our belief and hence our vibration indicates that it's missing. And the presence of something or someone and missing of something or someone are at different frequencies, just like a problem and a solution are at different frequencies. You can't find something that you think is lost. If you want to connect to your loved ones who have transitioned, then look for them where they are, which means you have to forget about their illness, stop missing them, because they really haven't gone anywhere. They have left their bodies, they are now wholly non-physical and here and interested in you. In Indian spirituality, it's stated that life on earth is a dream, and transition is waking up from that dream and realizing that it was a dream all along. Death from this physical reality is transitioning out of this illusionary state, the dream state that we're all in. Life is a play, and we are writers and directors of our lives. When you sleep, your consciousness leaves your body. You awaken from this earthly life dream, and in the morning, you awaken back in your body in this dream of an earthly life. Transition is similar because you're not always guaranteed to return to your body the next day. Many people who have had exalted experiences can corroborate this, that life is an illusion, also known as Maya. It is a dream of your higher self. This doesn't mean that you're a puppet on a string because you have free will. It is also advised that we meditate on the idea of death to eliminate the fear of death, which spans from generations of social conditioning and a misunderstanding of the nature of reality. Many people have a fear of death, their own and that of their loved ones. I suffered from insomnia for 30 years, starting at the age of 13. The thought that triggered it was that my parents would one day die. This was my biggest fear. It happened in 2019 for my mum and 2022 for my dad. I survived. It was hard, and it is sometimes still is hard. But I'm grateful for my spiritual awakening, which helped me deal with the loss of my parents gracefully, even after being treated despicably by my immediate family at such a tragic time when I went home to spend time with my mum before she transitioned, which unfortunately was the very next day. I didn't get to see my dad before he left, but I had a dream about my dad, that he was ill 3 days before he was taken to hospital. He always said that we had a telepathic connection. Whilst on the plane back home, I had a mental conversation with him at 2 p.m., telling him not to wait for me if he was in pain. I didn't want him to suffer. He passed away at 2:05. If my uncle hadn't told me about the seriousness of my dad's condition, I never would have known because my siblings wouldn't have even told me. After staying in the UK, I returned back to the UAE alone, faced with the emotional journey that lay ahead of me, alone and with absolutely no support. Transition is inevitable. It's going to happen to all of us. It's a natural process we're all going to go through. So it's better to accept it as a part of life and live your life as fully as possible. Your loved ones would want that for you. And celebrate your dearly not so departed's lives. I celebrate my parents every day and more so on their birthdays and their transition day. I see their re-emergence into non-physical as another birthday. I hope this has helped you shift your perspective. Be sure to like and subscribe to be notified of my next video. If this has been inspirational, please leave a positive comment and share this with others it can help. Thank you and live in joy, peace and harmony. Namaste.